Welcome to our webinar, Transform Your Contact Center with Competella SaaS. As businesses continue to shift towards cloud-based solutions, integrating your contact center with Microsoft Teams has never been more important. Today, we'll explore how Competella SaaS can help you enhance customer interactions, optimize resources, and future-proof your contact center. Now, let's get started by introducing today's speakers. First, we have Gary Bennett, VP of Sales for EMEA. Gary will begin by providing an overview of Enghouse and how we support businesses in transforming their customer experiences through innovative solutions and a commitment to excellence. After that, Amanda Pearson, Product Manager for Competella, will walk us through the latest updates and upcoming features in Competella SaaS, showcasing how these innovations can benefit your contact center and keep you ahead in the industry. Finally, Karim Lukili, Solutions Engineer at Enghouse Competella, will give us a live demo of Competella SaaS, highlighting key features like intelligent call routing and real-time analytics that can optimize your contact center's performance. Now, I'll hand it over to Gary to kick things off. All yours, Gary.
Thank you, Camilo, and thank you and welcome to everybody who is on the webinar today. As Camilo said at the beginning, I am Enghouse's VP of Sales for EMEA, and it's my pleasure this morning just to spend a few minutes to set some context around the webinar today before I let the real experts take over. I'm obviously sort of aware that a number of people who are Competella customers and maybe on the call today are not necessarily familiar with Enghouse, even though Competella was acquired by Enghouse a couple of years ago. So I really just wanted to take a couple of moments to touch on Enghouse as an organisation. We're headquartered in Canada. We are, a profitable, debt-free organisation. So for those partners and customers, what I can say is that investing in Enghouse is a good place to be in terms of investing in our portfolio and technology. We have grown over the years largely by acquisition as well as organically. And the organisation is broken down essentially into sort of 5 key areas. The first you can see is Enghouse Interactive, and that's the part of the business where Competella and the team today reside. But we do also have a significant video business that has grown through acquisition, which has a number of very strong vertical solutions, particularly in the health market. We have a comprehensive networks division, which is able to help manage and optimize organizations' network infrastructure across a variety of verticals, whether that's media, utilities, and defense as examples. We also have a significant transport and public safety division, which has some significant business in the Nordics as well. So an important part of the organisation. And most recently, in the last couple of years, we've added a specialised group, which has a very strong focus around mobile device management. What I will say about Enghouse Interactive is, we return often to 2 key words, and those are reliability and choice. Reliability, because we know that our infrastructure is often deployed in, critical environments, and choice, because we think that's important on 2 fronts, really. Whether you want to buy directly from Enghouse or from one of our partners, we think it's important to provide that choice. And secondly, whether you want to buy your solution as an on-premise or as a cloud, or even as a partner cloud private offering. So we think it's important to be able to offer that flexibility, because we know that in some cases, some of our competitors are very sort of much tied to one mode. We don't believe in that as a philosophy. We believe in giving you that choice and being able to offer our solutions in the way that you want to consume them. And we think that that's important. Next slide, Amanda, please. I think, particularly in the Nordic market, Enghouse is, understood or has a reputation for being an attendant console company, very much sort of based on our background for delivering over many years the Trio solution, But what I can say, and hopefully what you'll see on this particular slide, is that we're very much more than that. From attendant console at front of house right through to contact center, be that premise or cloud or private cloud with our partners, agent supervision and assistance, workforce management, and of late, increasingly more and more in terms of introducing and innovating around AI into our solutions. And we're very much focused on what we would call practical AI, and that is, the ability to use AI here and now. Because again, what you will hear and see in the market is a lot of people talking about what AI will deliver in the future, a year, 18 months, 2 years away. We would prefer to focus on what AI can deliver today. That's around things like knowledge and process agents, helping agent performance through translation, scorecarding, coaching, summarization, and also through being able to provide what we call insights, either in terms of agent evaluation or voice of the customer. And we think that when you tie all of these elements together, we've got a pretty comprehensive offering. So I would say that whilst we're going to spend some time in the next sort of 30, 40 minutes talking about Competella, please don't forget that we do have a very broad and comprehensive portfolio. And we and our partners, and if you're partners, obviously you know that already, we're more than happy to talk to you about any part of that. So if you're a customer that only uses Competella and want to talk about another part of the solution, great. If you're a partner and only particularly sell Competella, we're happy to talk to you about some of the other offerings we have as well. Thank you, Amanda. If you move on one. So in terms of Competella, I've touched on this. It was founded in 2009 and acquired by Enghouse in 2022. Hundreds of customers, use that solution at the moment. It's available on-prem or as a SaaS solution, as I've indicated. And we're able to provide not only the software, but also the in-house support and services for Competella as well. And I think probably if there's just one thing to take from this slide before I disappear, it's the sort of point in the middle, which is that, the solution is completely natively built and is certified for Microsoft Teams, which again, given where we are at the moment, is particularly important. So on that, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to hand over to the experts and let them tell you a little bit more about Competella and what's new. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. To introduce myself, I'm Amanda Pearson, the Product Manager for Competella, Enghouse's contact centre and attendant console solution for Microsoft Teams. And there are 3 themes that I want to take you through today before I hand you over to Karim, who will be demoing highlights of the Competella Teams solution. These are partners and customers, how can we support you? The future of our Competella on-premise solution, and recent and planned developments. And we'll start with partners and customers. As Gary has stated, Competella is offered as a cloud-based service, which is completely natively built and certified for Microsoft Teams and includes solutions for contact centers and attendant consoles. Competella is available directly to customers or indirectly via Teams, and our goal is to provide our partners and customers with the tools they need to onboard and manage their installations going forward. So how do we do this? For partners, we provide the tools that allow them to automate the moving of existing on-prem customers to SaaS. And the big advantage here is that this can be done solely by the partner without any assistance from Enghouse. And for customers, we can provide fast and easy onboarding with a stepped approach with supervision at every step. And this is assisted by our specialized onboarding team. And we can also provide this to partners as well. We also have, and Karim will go into a lot more detail in the demo, which is the Competella Management Tools module or suite. And it's available to both partners and customers. And this allows you to do all the administration of the system within Competella, such as managing queues, call flow, agent groups, everything you need to set up really. And our goal, well, my goal as a product manager, is to improve and enhance this module. So to do this, I've implemented an ongoing project to work on this, and this will span a number of releases. And we'll just go to our next slide. Okay, let me just get some water. So as I previously stated, Competella is a Microsoft certified team solution, but we continue to have an on-premise solution to support our Skype customers. And I'll talk briefly about the future of this on-prem solution. As you are aware, Microsoft is ending their extended support for Skype for Business server on October the 14th, 2025. And we do encourage any existing Skype for Business customers to move on to our SaaS solution for Teams, but we also understand that this may not be feasible for all customers. And we also understand that Teams isn't as feature-rich as Skype. So with this in mind, here at Competella, we will continue to support the on-prem Skype product until Microsoft end of life. We also recently issued a new release of our on-premise product, and will continue to do that going forward as well. However, as you may also be aware, there's been an announcement from Microsoft regarding Skype for Business, and they are planning, in advance of this October 2025 cutoff date, a release of Skype for Business Server Subscription Edition. And that will be available just before the cutoff date of October, hopefully a bit earlier than that. So what you need to know is that Competella will continue to review the Microsoft roadmap as and when it's published, and will continue to test and support these new server releases. So we'll be looking at the subscription edition. Okay, and I will move on to my next slide. Okay, so before presenting what I'm going to do in the next couple of slides is we're going to look at recent features and new features planned at the end of this year. So before presenting the up and coming features in Competella, I'd like to do a short recap of recent developments to set the scene so that everybody knows where we are with Competella and knows exactly what's in the solution. My focus has been very much on Teams and new features within Teams, sorry. And I'll now go through a few of the recent developments. So we'll start with our supervisor listen in and barge in. And this feature is designed, and this is everything that's available now. This feature is designed to assist supervisors in the training of new agents. So when a new agent takes a call, we've added in the option for the supervisor to be able to listen in and offer assistance without the caller hearing. And I think this is invaluable in allowing your new agents to gain confidence with taking calls, knowing that they've got backup already on the call, so they're not going to get stuck. And the barge-in option allows the supervisor to talk to the agent without the end caller hearing the conversation. So this is really useful if the end caller asks a question that the agent doesn't know the answer to. What they can do is the supervisor can then talk to the agent, tell them what the answer is, and the agent can then relay that information back to the end caller. Okay, and we'll look at a couple of features on how to make life easier for the agent. So we've got disable callbacks X minutes before the queue is closed, with X being configurable. So callbacks are important to end customers, but your agents need to be able to handle these efficiently. And with this in mind, we have added a new setting to cater for a configurable time to be able to disable callbacks before the queue is closed, allowing agents to manage their current calls before the queue is closed, but also inform customers that callbacks are not currently available. So it's just managing your callers' expectations and trying to improve the workflow and the management of calls for the agents. We have a configurable wrap-up time. So some calls are more complicated than others. And the set wrap-up time may not be enough for the agent to add all the information that they need, because this information will then be useful if the caller comes back and another agent can then look back and see the history. So it's useful for our follow-on calls. Therefore, to cater for this, we have added the option for the agent to easily extend the wrap-up time. Call handling and call flow. Now, as part of every release, we're doing sort of continued improvements to the call flow of the agents as to how the calls moved around in the system, and to sort of enhance the user experience, both for the agents to provide the correct information to the caller, but also to make life easier for the caller, particularly regarding answering and transferring calls. Okay, I'll move on to my next slide. So we're now looking at the call log API. So there will always be the need to extract information out of Competella to use in other third-party solutions. No matter what system you have, you always want to take the information out and do a bit of analysis somewhere else. So at Competella, we offer a number of APIs to allow information to be extracted out. And the call log was the latest that we allowed, which allowed calls from the individual queues to be extracted out. We have our Competella Office for SaaS, which was used by customers to search the Competella directory, manage activities and settings for the routing agent. This was a popular on-prem model, and this has been added into SaaS. And we come back to our Competella management tools, which I talk about quite a lot in this presentation. So I've talked about this before, it's part of the customer and partner slide. But the goal here is to add configurations and settings which allow partners and customers to add functionality and configuration to the Competella management tools. So basically it's to allow for more sort of self-management so that you can manage more of your system. And this again, as I said, will cover a number of releases and we'll add new features in each time we do a release. We also have our statistics module, and I'll actually talk more about statistics when I look at our future developments. But basically what we've done here, this is where you can create your own reports, and there's a number of canned reports as well. So we've continued to add new matrix to the report creator and updates to the canned reports to include all the call matrix. And this is to ensure that the SaaS statistics cloud solution, the team solution, is as fully comprehensive in its reporting as our on-prem statistics was. Right. Okay, we'll move on to our next slide. Okay, and this is the last slide we'll do before I hand over to Karim for the demo. Okay, so what we're going to look at here is highlights of our planned development for the Competella platform. Doesn't include everything. What I've done here is I've cherry picked. So I've taken some features to talk about, but I also want to make you aware that if you have any features that you feel are missing or anything you're struggling with, anything, any problems that you think actually this is quite awkward, or is there a better way of doing this, or this would really help my agents, and please contact me directly and I can review that with our team and we can look at adding features in. I have to remember that roadmaps are agile, they're not set in stone. Things can be moved around, and we want to ensure that our customers and partners get the features which will help them most, which will give them the best solution that we can deliver. Okay, right. So what we'll do is just go through couple of new features here. We've got agent work recording, again, Competella management tool. And I want to talk a little bit about integrations. Okay, so we've got personal welcome for agents. So this is basically offering a more personalized service. I hate saying basically, it was a terrible word, sorry. Offering a more personalized service and saving the agent's voice so they don't have to repeat the same greeting over and over for each call. So the agent will be able to record their own personal message that can be played at the beginning of the call, and they can have different messages. They can have a good morning one or a good afternoon one, whatever they want. It's totally up to them. It just makes it a bit more personal. We also have a configurable threshold for alerting of logged in agents at the close of the day. So as you are nearing the end of the day and the queue's closing, you want to be notified of how many agents are still managing your queue. And we're going to make this more flexible. For example, you may want to be notified if there are 3 agents left. And the benefit here is to allow for better management when closing the queue. So notifications are sent and the configurable limit of agents still logged on is reached. And you can then take action before the last agent logs on. Way of managing your workflow, basically. Okay, we'll move on to recording. And we've got record every X call, where X call is configurable. So we have frequently been asked for the option to record every X number of calls where X is configurable. For example, if X is set to 5, then every 5 calls will be recorded. And the agent will still be able to record on demand as and when they want, so it won't interfere with that. It's just a matter of recording, sort of not ad hoc, but making sure that calls are recorded. We've got our recording avalanche message. So if your queue is becoming overwhelmed and there are more calls that can be than can be handled, implementing a temporary avalanche message to inform your customers that no more calls can be taken and to call back is essential to keep your customers from becoming frustrated at being on hold for a long period. There's few things worse than being on hold for ages. So again, we're going to look at our CMT, our Competella Management Tool module. So as I said previously, we're adding additional configuration and settings to allow for more self-management, both by partners and by customers. These include pause statuses, and currently these only Enghouse can add them. So anything that only Enghouse can add, I want to look at, review, and see if it's a business benefit and of more value to the customer or the partner to be able to do this themselves. I want to be able to self-manage without asking us. Okay, we've also got national holidays. And this is the ability to add holiday schedules from an external source and apply to multiple queues. This is things like what we call bank holidays here in the UK. So I want to implement standard settings for national holidays to be automatically added for each country. And the benefit here is to remove repetitive manual setup so that all the bank holidays can be added to all the queues. And my last topic before I hand you over to Karim is regarding integrations. Now, at Enghouse, as Gary said before, we've got several contact center solutions. And many of these contact centers use Enghouse modules, which are available as plugins to the contact center. So you've got a module that can be used by multiple contact centers. And it means that each department doesn't have to sort of rewrite because the module's already there. And the first one of these that I want to look at is focused on statistical reporting. Reporting suite it's called. Plugged in to existing products and supply statistics and reports. So it will give you everything and more that our current statistics module gives you. got its canned reports, it's got the ability to create reports, but the advantage here is that this is already available. It's got its own reports, as I said, canned reports, create your own reports, but it's also got its own roadmap, so it'll develop in parallel, and anything that gets added will be automatically added to our integration. So ultimately, hoping to do this early next year, the plan is to replace our existing statistics with Enshow's reporting suite. And it's also worth noting that we do have a number of other integrations that I'm also looking at. You know, how can they best benefit Competella? We have a lot of modules, a lot of contact centers, and I want to take advantage of that. Okay, I think I've probably talked enough now. And what I'll do here is I will now hand you over to Karim, who will do the more exciting part of the presentation, the demo.
Thank you, Amanda.
So
and
I'll
hello,
just
everyone.
stop sharing. Sorry, I'm not quick enough there, Karim. Hold on.
No, I'll take over.
Okay,
All right.
so
Thank you, Amanda, and hello, everyone. I will do a quick demo of some of the products within Competella. And I will start with the agent tools. We're going to look at the tenant console, also the agent for contact center console. And we're going to look at the agent portal that is used by customers that don't want to have the client installed. And we're going to take a little peek at the admin part as well. So as you can see here in the window, I have now the console started. This is the thick client around on the windows. And if you have a hard time to see, you can zoom in actually. So if you don't see the text, so you can actually zoom in on the screen and to get a close look in case you're maybe on a cell phone or something like that and can see all things properly. So this is the console. You can see I'm logged in here. You see Karim Lokili, I'm logged in and I'm actually green here, ready to take calls. This top part of the console is the call handling part. This is the same part as also used for contact center enterprise. When you run this in like minimized mode, I can show that at the end. We see queue buttons here. So these are basically my incoming queues, main numbers to the company. And what I'm going to use this AXA spare parts, which has a number. And these are basically built up on resource accounts in Teams in Azure. So every incoming queue has a resource account, and they should normally also have a number, of course, so people can dial in. They are all green, simple as that they are open. And down here you can also see some status of agents logged in. And as you can see right now, I'm available. Karim Lokili is logged in and available, take calls. And when I get the call, you can see this will toggle to red that I'm busy. And if I'm in pause mode, for example, like this, you can see timer starts ticking up here. And all agents will see this, so you can see that I'm actually doing my job and not forcing my agent to do nothing, basically. You will also have this window here with incoming calls. So all incoming calls will be piling up here. So if you have a bunch of calls, you're going to see all of them in here. And normally in Competella is first come, first served. So if you just do answer call with a mouse, or if you just hit numeric enter, you would take the call that have been waiting the longest. But you can actually cherry pick calls as well by right-clicking on calls and select answer calls. If you park calls, put calls on hold, they will be visible here. And parking calls can also can be done private for yourself. We can park calls for the agent group, so other agents can pick up calls as well. You see two main windows here. Here's where the call handling is happening. So if you receive a call, you're going to see it here in the right-hand side. And if you do a blind transfer, regular fire and forget, everything will be happening here on the left-hand side. If you need to do a consult call, you would basically put the incoming call on hold, and then you would go to the right-hand side here and make call into the organization. See that someone is available to take the incoming call, basically. I will show you this live here in a little bit. Over here, we have a little monitor window. This can monitor users within the organization. So as you can see, I've tagged two users here, Olivia and Max Lemon. And this will show their team's presence here. So I can always see if they are available. And I can, of course, call them right away from here as well. This is good because normally in an organization, you tend to have, a couple of people that you more frequently connect calls to. So you can have them in here and always monitor them over here. Down here, we see have the search part, where you can search in these search fields. And these are different views. You can search for either name and phone number, or you can search for first name, last name, and so on, different fields within the database. And you can, of course, combine searches. You can use, if, for example, if you would like to do a search on first name and last name, you can, of course, combine those kind of searches and so forth. And you can also pin searches. So in case you have something that you always search on, let's say it could be maybe country, if you're located in different countries, you can maybe pinpoint your own country code and then have searches only happen within your own country. So I'll do just an example here. I will search for Max Lemon. So I'll search for Max here. And we can now see that we found Max and he is away. We also got other searches to see Mark and Manwa here. And the thing is that we have something called fuzzy search. So we don't have to spell correct. You can basically, enter your search and it will try to find the person anyway. Like you do Google search, you're going to find things even if you don't spell 100% correct. So you don't have to fiddle around with phonetics and things like that. That can be common in other systems. And we can see Max. If I take another piece here and fiddle around a bit, you can see he will now be green and available. So now you can see his status changed to green here. And we'll also see here in my monitor list that he is green. When you search for a person, you can also see his calendar to see his whereabouts. If I click this one, you can see his calendar. You can see he has some meetings here in the week. And you can also see all information about Max. So if I click here, you can see some additional information on him and also other numbers. And I can, of course, click on them to dial as well. We have an organization tree that you can browse. So basically, I can browse through here and see where people are available and so on. So admin, maybe switchboard here. You can see Karim Lokili, that's me as needed right now, and I'm available. And you can, of course, call people directly from here as well. You also have a call log. This one logs all calls that come through the system. So you can see calls that you have answered, or if you have missed calls, you'll see them as well. You can filter here on your own conversations or through all the agents, basically. And you can filter incoming, outgoing, missed calls, and also based on queues, you can filter this list. So let's say that you have a missed call and you didn't answer and you would like to get back to a person. You can just find the call here and then call the person. And you can, of course, also add a note. So in case you dial this person, so no other agents try to dial them, you can add notes maybe there. Person like that. Like that. So now we have a little tag on that one, so that no others try to call that person. And in the bottom, you also have a little built-in browser that you can see here in the client. In case you have some CRM connections or would like to do some fancy lookups in other directories, so you can do pop-ups, web pop-ups for the client and so on. You can have them pop up in here, or maybe pop up in an external browser as you wish. I'll do a quick example of a call. So I'm going to make an inbound call, so you can see what it looks like.
Welcome to AXA Motors Denmark.
Now you can see we have an incoming caller here, and we have a new call coming in. And if I'll just click here, answer call, I will now answer the incoming caller. And what we see now, we can see the incoming caller and that they call directly to this queue. And you can also see some additional information. So you can actually see that this person has called before. And last time it was actually done at 10:24. And last time it was transferred to someone, it was transferred to Olivia Green. So if I would like to transfer to Olivia, I can of course do that right away from here. But you can see her presence is offline, so there's no idea of doing it right now. But you have the option of doing a call or a call with announcement, a consult call basically, or search for someone else maybe. So I would like to send this to Max instead. So I will just search for Max and press numeric enter, and the call is away like that. So that was your regular blind transfer. If I would like to do a consult call, I will do that as well.
Welcome to AXA Motors Denmark.
I'll answer the call like that. And now if I would like to see if Max is able to take calls, I could either, of course, do a consult call here, but I'll do it the other way around, the longer way. Do toggle left, right. What happens now is that incoming call is put on hold, and now we open a new speech path here. I can search for Max, and I can try to dial him, see if he's available. And if he is available, I can, of course, ask him, is it okay, can you take this caller or not? And if you can do that, then basically I'll just transfer the call. See, now it's like that. And it's great. All right. So that was very brief, the attended client. And of course, if you'd like to see more of this, we'll definitely arrange a longer session with you. We can have where we can go in depth and see more features and functionality through the client. For agents that use Contact Center Enterprise, they normally use this client as well. What they can do is that they basically run this like in the minimize mode. So we'll click this. Sorry, do like that. As we can see that. So now we basically just have the call handling part available. And then you can have a CRM system, maybe underneath, or in another window with a web browser, whatever you might be using to work as a contact center agent. And with that, I will jump over to the contact center workgroup. For contact center workgroup, those agents or the agents that doesn't use this thick client, they basically just said that they are available to take calls through a web portal. So what I will do, I will basically just shut this one down, and I will give you an example here. I will show you the agent portal. This is the Competella agent portal. And here, when you log in, you can say that you're available to take calls or not by clicking here, offline or online. You select where you would like to get the calls, only to your Teams client, or maybe to some other devices. It could be your cell phone, your home phone, your neighbor's phone, doesn't matter. Just that the phone needs to be in the database, so you can select it. Or, of course, you could put the number in simultaneous ring in your Teams client, and then we can dial on that number as well. And here you can select which group you would like to take calls from. So I'm part of 3 agent groups. So if I just would like to work, for example, access spare parts, I could leave these other 2 like that by clicking on them, and I have now left those groups. And I will only receive calls from access spare parts. And with some additional privileges that I have, I can also close queues. So I can go in here and basically say that, well, access reception needs to be closed for some kind of reason. So I close it like that. And we'll see. It should turn. Didn't it? No, we didn't. One more time. Let me try again. Like that. I didn't want to cooperate with me. Yeah, there we go. It's now closed. So I can see it's closed. So this is very simple to use, and it's adaptable, as I mentioned, so it will fit in any phone. It's also as an app in Teams. So if you go to Teams in your Teams client, we'll go over here. I'll show you the Teams client. It's also available as an app. So I think I have it here. There, Contact Center. So you can see I have the same features functionality within Teams. So I could just go into my Teams client and click and choose and go into my groups or whatever, like that. Okay. So finally, I'll show you a little bit from the admin part, which is the Competella management tools. This is the web portal where all the configuration of Competella happens. And we'll take a look at some part. We won't go through all these, but let's take a quick peek at queue handling. Under queue handling, that's where we configure queues, we add agents, we create agent groups, and so forth. So under agents, you will see a list of agents in the system. And here you can also take them offline or online from here, change their statuses. Agents need to be grouped into agent groups. So under agent groups, we'll find that. So we take the agent groups that handles access spare parts, the one we had in the demo. You take a look here and you see that this agent group uses routing method alongside them. So you can select if you need parallel, serial, whatever. And also if the agent should be allowed to leave groups, you can change it here. Cannot, you can leave groups. You have the timers for offer timeout, call offers to the agent, and also the wrap-up time. And you also have the rules if calls will come through to agents, even if they're away, yellow, if they're busy or busy in a call. And from here, you can also add your agents to the queue, to the groups, and you can also put them in the groups and back and forth, remove them and so on from the groups to take calls from them in here. Then the agent group serves queues. So if you look at incoming queues, we can see we have access spare parts. So I'll go the long way here over to queues. Could I click that one, of course? And I'll go to access spare parts, click that one. So here you see some settings of the queue, access spare part. You see line URI, and of course, if you need to have incoming calls to your queues, you need to have a number set. And with the resource count, you need to have a real number set, basically. And that you do through PowerShell on your resource account. So each queue is assigned an agent group. In this case, we have access spare parts. You can, of course, assign more groups. So if I add the access sales, for example, there will be a timer here. And by default, like this, it will call 60 seconds for the access spare parts group with agents in there. And if no one answers, it will go to the next group. So we have cultures within the system, default cultures. That's basically what kind of prompts should be played in what language. And default here is E and US. And if you look at the sound files, you can also see that the culture E and US, and here we have the different sound files. The system can handle different cultures, different languages. So you could basically have like this welcome message that says, welcome to access spare parts. We'd like to hear all messages in English, press 1. You would like to hear them in German, press 2. In Swedish, press 3, and so forth. By that, we can change culture within the call. And here's the different sound prompts we can use. We have welcome messages, music on hold, of course, different hold messages, queue close for night answering, and so on. And this also support inline messages, so we can have, queue. Did you say how many people are before you in queue? You're number 1 in queue or something like that, or also estimated wait time. On the queues, we also can set rules like overflow rules with queue depth or timers. What should happen if there are 10 callers in queue? Should the 11th be, disconnected or sent somewhere else maybe? We have rules for queue closed. What should happen if the queue is closed night time? Should you just forward somewhere or disconnect? Or what you would like. And also rules if there are no agents available. And there's some queue status. We have survey capabilities and also these DTMF actions. DTMF actions are used for this change of culture, for example. They can press 1 or 2. Or if you have callback, we will support callbacks. So we say that if you would like for us to call you back, press 4, and then you'll have a callback later on. So those kind of rules you set up on DTMF. And the queues also can get tagged with schedules. So you have your opening hours that you have set on the schedules. So we can see we have a typical schedule here. We can take a look at our schedule. This is the one I'm using. And if you look at days here, you can see basically it's Monday to Friday between 8 and 11 p.m. You can also have all-day prompts. You can add prompts for Christmas, whatever you might have, New Year's and so on. If it's closed and so on, you can have different prompts for that. And there's a new feature coming. Over the years, I've been working with Competella quite a long time. And I think when I used to train a lot of partners, and in all trainings I heard is, can't you not import calendars or holiday from other systems? And we actually will be coming with that finally. So I think in the next release, not the coming one, but the one after, we will be able to import the holidays. But Amanda knows more about that. Within management tools, you also have some other features. We have directory, of course. Directory is your employees within the company. And this one is normally filled by a nightly import in the system. So now I search for Max. So he's imported from your Azure directory. So we get first name, last name. He has a keyword for agents to search on. We have his organization, where he belongs to, and you can have titles and so forth. And you have pictures as well, if you like pictures of the employees. Then on the fields page, you have these on the left-hand side. These are system fields. They are always there in the system. They normally have your phone numbers and stuff like that, emails and so on. And you can have your own customer-specific fields here on the right-hand side. So if you have need for other fields, you can just basically add those here. And the final piece, I will just talk a little bit about statistics and logs very briefly. We can do statistics over all the calls coming in. We can see, how many calls have come in, how has agent performed, and so on. So if I, for example, would like to create a new report like this, very brief here, I can do reports on queues, different queues. I can do reports on agents, here's agent groups, but of course I can do it on individual agents as well. I'm going to get a list of agents. So you can see how they perform and so on. We can base it out of a time frame, last month, last year, today, yesterday, and so on, or you can specify date yourself. And we can group the different information and so on. And we have metrics. We have up to 18 different metrics that you can select. And I did just a quick one for the day. I just call it KL Simple here. I will select that one. What this one does, it will make a report and access spare parts, the queue there, and we'll take it from today. And the only metrics I have right now is all calls coming in, numbers, all incoming answered calls, and abandoned calls. And for example, if I do like this, I will now get numbers on this. So you can see calls that come into the system. And we do have some calls coming in, and then answer calls. So see, I've grouped them in our minutes, so there are different minutes where this will happen. You can of course get bars. It's very simple right now with just this. It's a bit that fancy. But you can of course press this button and send it to Excel as well, and then you can do your fancy pie charts and all those kind of fancy stuff Excel can do. And with the final thing, I would like to show you the call log. The call log is a log where you can do logs on agents and calls. See how agents have performed, that they've been available to take calls to the system. And you can see call logs to see how what happened to calls and so on. I will do a quick one because I'm running a little bit out of time here. I do the access spare parts. I will do today, and I do a refresh. And now we can see here we have incoming answer calls or abandoned calls and so forth. And let's say someone's dialing back to you and say, I was dialing to your switchboard, no one answered, I was waiting for a long time and I was really angry and now I hanged up and now I'm calling you back. So you can go in here and now take a look at what did happen. So see, we have an abandoned call here. So I can do events here, click on that one. And then we can see here, we have new incoming call. It went to this number, but just terminated. So no one did answer this for 1.5 minutes. So no agents were online, no one could take this call. Another example, if you take this one, transfer from queue, you can look at this one. So you can see a new incoming call from this number to this queue. It was offered to agent Karim, and it was answered by agent Karim. And then you do a call out to Max Lemon, and then call terminate and wrap up. So they can follow the calls, and it's really good if you'd like to see what has happened to the calls that came into Competella. All right, so that was very quick. As I mentioned before, feel welcome to just call us and connect with us, and we'll do a deep demo and show you much more of the features within Competella. So by that, I will hand over to you, Amanda, for the final part.
Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the demo. We're going to tidy up now, and we've had a number of questions that have come in. One of our first questions was, will this presentation be available for download? And yes, it will be hosted on YouTube as in the InShow's interactive section. And I believe that links will be sent out after this as well. We also had a question regarding the setup and onboarding process of new customers and how long that takes. So I can take that one. So it's very easy to onboard new customer to Competella. The first step is for the partner or customer to set up the configuration in Azure. And we have an easy to follow deployment guide to help with that. So we're basically helping you with every step. As I said previously in the presentation, we have a dedicated onboarding team who are here to help, and the customer will be allocated a time slot to be onboarded. And again, just following a guide. And the whole process can take approximately 15 to 30 minutes for the customer. Again, this is depending on the configuration. It may take longer if you have a lot of configuration to set up and a lot of queues. But again, that can be reviewed with the onboarding team. And one last comment is we also provide the option of a proof of concept for customers who want to try out Competella. It's a free to cancel trial period of 1 month, and that's from the end of the technical implementation. And we have another question even, and I'm going to hand this one over to Karim, which is how does Competella connect to Teams?
Teams. Okay, yes. Well, as mentioned before, the queues that we have are resource accounts. So basically what the customer will do, they will set up their own resource account for the incoming queues. And when they set the numbers for them, you can have, of course, you could be using Microsoft calling plans, direct routing, or direct routing, and I forgot the third one. Oh, I lost it. Well, there are three favorites, and you can use them all. And basically, you would set the phone number on your resource account, and then the resource account is belonging to a calling bot. So it should not be part of your Azure Teams auto attendant or anything call queues. It should be handled by a calling bot. That's one that we control with Competella, basically.
And I think that's all the time we have for questions. So what I'd like to do now is wrap up the call. say thank you to everybody for attending. I do know that your time's important. And if you have any questions or anything you want to know more about, either contact myself or contact Karim.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.